Got no time to always keep an eye on the stock market? You can stop worrying about the stocks that you have and those that you don't after setting up your conditional order. Set, forget, don't fret. Now available on AB Capital Advantage. Here's how. Log in to your AB Capital Advantage account. On the Quick Trade tab, select either buy or sell and choose Stop Limit as type of order. Select a stock and indicate the number of shares. Set the limit price. It's the highest price at which you are willing to buy or the lowest price at which you are willing to sell stocks. Set the trigger price. Once the price of the stock reaches your trigger price, the platform will automatically start buying or selling the stock. Please take note. For buy orders, the trigger price should be greater than the current stock price. For sell orders, the trigger price should be less than the current stock price. Lastly, choose the term of your conditional order. It can be good for a day, a week, or a month. But please keep in mind that triggered conditional orders are only valid on the day they are triggered. That easy! With the AB Capital Advantage conditional order feature, you don't have to miss stock market opportunities and you can manage investment risk even when you are away. Find out how you can have access to our AB Capital Advantage platform by visiting our website.
Okay. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Thank you, Jojo, for that reminder. I actually didn't see it. I was too excited for that. But okay, let me say what I have just said one more time. This time with real feelings. All right. So good afternoon, everybody, and happy Friday. Um, Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. As I was saying, Karina, I am actually very excited for our episode today of the earnings call because this early I'm seeing a lot of comments and some of them are actually very funny. So I'll be going through them in a little while. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I am sure that I am not muted this time. My name is Jeff Tan, and I will be accompanying you for an hour or so, maybe a little bit more because of the number of guests that we have for this Friday's edition of AB Capital Securities Earnings Call. Now, I know that all of you here have attended this event because you would like to get some nuggets of information. That was an intentional pun because our featured company for this afternoon is a gold miner who is none other than Apex Mining Company. And we will be speaking to a mining expert, a mining engineer, none other than their investor relations officer later on. But before that, let's keep it light. Let's keep it conversational between you and me, at least virtually. I would like to. What is the mining of earnings call? Um, Please answer. Looks a good dyan, Omar. Would also accept nuggets of gold from Ian. I've been asking for that. I'm trying to negotiate one since I'm hosting Apex's earnings call. Hopefully, Mon will be giving me some later on. But let's see. But you know what, guys? Thank you very much for your warm participation. But here is what I would like to ask from everybody. Since our topic is mining, and the last time that mining was exciting, something to talk about was way back in 2012, 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Those were the days of Nihao, Lepanto. Um, I'm not even sure if GeoGrace participated in that rally, but you know what? Please tell me your mining stories. Your favorite mining story, perhaps a ticker. Um, let's make it a no filter Friday. Tell me a ticker that made you really happy or made you a lot of money before, and even perhaps a ticker na sabi nga ni Omar kanina, perhaps a company na nagmine lang daw sa board ba? Is that what he said, no? But okay, just try to recall those. Si Carlos is really funny. He's got a lot of comments and quips. Um, Sabi ni Carlos, which can't be seen, hindi mo magsasalita si Enrique Razon. Maybe some more calls. Maybe calls for, um, sana may hashtag tayo for Mr. Enrique Razon na baka mamaya magsalita siya. So future of metals. So we'll get to that later, no, Jojo. But okay, so please recall your mining stories, if ever you can recall your favorite mining stories. But before that, as you try to recall your favorite story, allow me to set the stage for everyone. So I'm going to suspend you guys a little bit, though. I'll take the floor for maybe 5 to 10 more minutes, but all I want to do is to set the stage for our guest, especially for the topic at hand. No? I'm gonna have like 5 slides here that I would like to share with everybody. And what I'm gonna do is we're going to do a little bit of flashback Friday. I'm gonna take you a trip down memory lane to remind you of how the mining sector has performed during the earlier periods. Kasi there are some, I would assume that there are some investors here who probably participated in the market not too long ago lang. But for me, yeah, I'm a little bit older. I got to participate during that rally in 2011, but the mining subsector was actually created in 2006. So it's a very young subsector. And you can see that in the past, over the past, ano ba to, 16 years, over the past 16 years, there have been two instances or there have been two bull cycles for the mining sector as well as for the PSE. Now, what I would like, there are two things that I would like you guys to remember for this slide or from this slide. The first one is that if you invest in companies outside the index, these are of course the smaller names na, no, the not too followed by institutions, there is really an opportunity for us to make that extra return. Okay. As you can see, from the period of 2006 up to 2007, that was leading to the peak of before the global financial crisis. You can see there that the blue line, which is the mining subsector, increased by 187%. Compare that with the 75% of the PSEI. Of course, we were interrupted by the global financial crisis, but after that, another bull run commenced or happened. And in fact, during the time, I think it was because also of the unprecedented quantitative easing by Federal Fed Chairman Bernanke. You can see that the mining subsector rose by 634%. Compare that with the 165% of the PSEI. Okay. As you can see, if you go now to what it is today, yeah, okay, mining subsector is still doing much better. But to provide a little bit more layer, to make more sense of our discussion this afternoon, you can see that during the time, kasi you might be asking, what about naman Felix, di ba? Kayo mga team piso Apex, pakidagdagan mo naman ng isang piso para team 2 piso Apex. But what I would like to show here is that Apex also participated. EKR is the man for mining. So Apex participated in that run-up. My first bagger before was FNI, okay. 326%, if I can see my slide correctly. So that was a 328% run for Apex. And then the light blue line, that was Felix, which rose by 467%. Both of them didn't rise as much as the 634. But during the time, I just didn't show it here, but it was really massive amounts of speculation. I was with another brokerage that time, and during the time, the smart people were being seemingly look foolish kasi they didn't get to participate in those other mining stocks. But you know what? Before I leave the slide, there are two things. Again, there are two nuggets that I would like to leave with you. That's all I could give. In participating in non-index names, specifically the mining subsector, you have to pick your companies well. Number one. And number two, you have to learn how to sell. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Let's take it from someone, a person, a fictional character who has had a lot of wins under his belt. And this is, of course, coming from Harvey Specter himself. Talking about learning how to sell, right? Next slide, please. Okay. It was sabi ni Harvey Specter before, knowing when to leave is important. The party, the job, the relationship. And I agree with him. I think selling is an art. And as you can see here, as an aside, the 2012 rally in the mining subsector was clipped because that was when EO79 was actually written. I'll talk about EO79 later, but that EO79 was when all mining permits, all mining agreements were put on hold until a new revenue regulation was put in place. No, so you can see that since 2012 up to 2020, take note of the date. There was really nothing to make out of the mining subsector. Now, let's not talk about leaving the party just yet because I don't think the party has even begun. In fact, if you would like, if you will allow me to make a sports analogy, yeah, next slide, please. I feel that we are just in spring training, and we are not even in the first inning yet. I feel that there are still some movements that are taking place that will set the stage for the mining sector to become a vibrant or to become a hunting fertile ground. No, that's a word I'd like to leave, especially for those who are probably concerned about ESG. I've been studying this company, and there's something to learn about when it comes to ESG, but that's not the point. So mining through the pandemic. So as I've mentioned, 2020. Remember EO79 I've mentioned earlier. EO79 was replaced by EO130 or 130, and that was an EO that was penned by President Duterte back in April 2021 when he superseded when it superseded the EO 79, which means that pwede na ulit magkaroon ng mining agreements. Why? Because the trade law was already put in place and it increased the royalties paid to the government from 2% to 4%. So pwede na daw ulit. Fast forward 6 months later to December 2021, you can probably remember that news. Open pit mining, open na daw ulit. That's why you can see there were two waves of rally, as you can see there. April 2021, prices surged, and then it came down. And then once that other roadblock was taken out, which is the open pit mining, nag-rally ulit yung mining subsector together with the miners that are listed there. And of course, it led to another correction today. So probably you're asking me, there were two events that led to surges. What's next? For the company, si Mon ang bahala magkwento. But as far as following the news is concerned, what I would like to show you here is that headlines and sound bites have been singing a beautiful tune in favor of the mining industry very, very recently. In fact, di ba nag-correct from December 2021 to today because there's a change in administration. So there was that concern. But now, as you can see with this news by now DOF Secretary Ben Jokno, he was saying that he wants mining to flourish under Marcos. And then, of course, our current president, no, Marcos, eyes VAT for from partially processed or exports. And actually, there's been a lot of movements recently that will rationalize mining here in the Philippines. So I hope that gave you a quick rundown of the history of the mining industry here in the Philippines. I actually got excited when I was researching this as well, no? But in preparation for this call. But 8 pa TP namin kay Apex. Sorry, I couldn't stand, but nakita ko lang siya from Steady Tito. 8 pa TP namin kay Apex. Why don't we ask Mon later? You know what, Steady Tito, with that comment, and I know that you guys came here not to listen to me, but to listen to a proven expert. So, the time has come for me to call on our guest and our distinguished guest and speaker for this afternoon. The name, I'm sure you guys know already, but he prefers to be called by his friends as Mon, but his full name is Ramon Peter E. Adviento. He is the Assistant Vice President for Investor Relations for Apex Mining Company. Now, Mon handles all facets of the investor relations initiatives of Apex Mining. As I've said, why should you listen to a person with a little bit more than 12, 13 years of experience? We should listen to somebody who has 30 years of solid experience in the field of mining, investor relations, mergers and acquisition, valuation, project assessment, as well as asset optimization. Mon has done all of those. Now, he was the vice president and as a senior analyst for Maybank ATR Kim Eng. He was telling me that he did road shows in Indonesia and Malaysia before. And then he joined Global Fair Nickel Holdings, FNI, as a senior vice president for investor relations. And then he also went to Century Peak Metal Holdings Corp. I think this is CPM, no? As vice president for operations. And then Mon worked as a mining consultant to several companies. Finally, Mon graduated from the University of the Philippines with a degree in Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering and ranked 7th in the 1990 licensure examination. He finished his master's in business management at the Asian Institute of Management in 1994. Sorry, Mon, I had to reveal your age. But Mon, welcome. And thank you for being here with us this afternoon. You have a lot of fans. I can see it.
Thank you. By the way, for your information, I was involved with Mr. Jerry Amping and Dave De La Cruz in forming Geogaze and Nihaw.
Hindi na
So,
sinama eh. Ang haba
hindi
na kasi.
sila, but yeah, I was involved. We
Yeah, it's
formed those
part of your tour.
companies and we created the mining claims and also involved with Mike Defensor with respect to to
Ooh.
those assets. Anyway,
Pero your Geograce time was before joining Maybank? Or
yeah,
when was it?
2005 pa, 2006.
Okay. That was your first company pala.
No,
Anyway, we don't
matagal na.
wanna really to go
Yeah.
through your CV because it's really, I'm sure it's a lot. Mon, so Let's go through first your presentation, and then as I have mentioned before, if we really have time after the Q&A, maybe we can do some more in-depth questions on the mining industry. But for now, I'll leave the floor to you.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Engineer Ramon Peter Adviento. I'm This is my second time. Thank you for welcoming us, and thank you for AB Cup for hosting us. Okay, next. This is the picture of our Mako operations. This is the mill. Okay, so if you notice, it's all green, and then it's because we're an underground mine, so you won't see much surface disturbance on our part. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, this is our the normal disclaimer. And then, so the next slide. Okay, the company was founded on February 26, 1970, and got listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange in 1974. The company is a consistent presidential mineral industry awardee. I think we've got this award for already 3 years in a row. And then we also have a Platinum Achievement Award for underground mining operation. It's the safest underground mining operation right now. And then we're one of the first in terms of ISO certifications from quality management in 2015, and also environmental management system, and 2018 occupational health and safety. So if you look at the current trend in terms of ESG, or environmental, social, and governance issues with respect to business operations, we were ahead already during that time. Okay, next slide, please. Uh, in fact, if you look at our mission vision statement, this was created way back in 2006, okay, or around those years. And if you look, the mission vision statement is already reeks of ESG messages. Okay, it's to promote the well-being of all stakeholders by embracing safety as a way of life, achieving world-class environmental standards, and upholding a holistic approach to wellness. This we do with care and sincere commitment to realize a sustainable, responsible, and globally recognized mining company. Mind you, the last statement of the mission vision statement is something that we're now striving to achieve, no? To be a globally recognized mining company. We're still very far from it, but that is our eventual goal, okay? So, next slide, please. Now, on an update with respect to the environment, okay, the company strives to maintain the highest environmental protection and community engagement throughout all its projects. So this is the pictures of our Earth Planting Day done in Pantukan. Pantukan is a municipality, three municipalities away from Mako, or two municipalities away from Mako. It's not within the mining tenement, but actually, the decision to go there is because we ran out of space. We basically have already planted most of our areas in the mining tenements. Okay, in the past 11 years, we've already planted over 581 hectares in Apex alone, and have already contributed over 309,000 seedlings with over 90% survivability rate, okay, under the National Greening Program of the DNR. Okay, so we're very active. In fact, if you listen to the previous earnings call, our rated capacity for our nursery is around 500,000 seedlings. So right now we're donating it to every LGU that wants it. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. On the social, we recently donated a series of water tanks to neighboring barangays. Just today, it's not in our slide, but today we donated in the Puso Foundation of GMA. We donated 2 million for the victims in Siargao. So our head of communications is there, just for the opening of the groundbreaking of the school that was that or we donated to. Okay, and then of course we also had a food security program that we did in the uh, Itugon area. Those are not necessarily employees. Those are some of the stakeholders within our Itugon area. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is in the first 6 months. One of the things that we did. Okay, so this is just for the first half, and then this is the on the also in the first half. That what happened is that milestone was given by the MGB to us. Safety milestone award with over 7 million man hours achieved without any incident, and then also a recognition by the MGB DNR for being a good corporate citizen with a responsible mining. Okay, and then the LGU gave us the recognition as top taxpayer. This past 3 years, I think we got this award. Okay, so next slide, please. Now, the second quarter numbers. Okay, for tons milled, we treated 197,000 tons. It's a 15% higher than previous year on year of 172,000 in 2021. With respect to gold grades, basically it's 26% higher for the second quarter of this year, for 4.14 as against previous year's 3.29. And then in terms of production, gold was 14% higher and silver 29%. Okay. So in terms of net income, well, it's a big jump, 307%. Okay. So for the second quarter, we achieved 917 million. That's our all-time high already for a quarter. So next slide, please. For tons milled, first half numbers. Uh, we achieved 392,000 for tons milled. Basically, it's 18.8% higher than previous year's first half. And with respect to grades, the gold is higher by 22%, 3.95 grams, as against previous year's 3.24. And silver, uh, 20.46 grams, two-thirds of an ounce on a per ton basis, 6.8 higher than previous years. Okay, with respect to ounces produced, gold was really high. Okay, we put we produce. Sorry, the slide is wrong. But basically, we produce 43,748 ounces of gold, 45% higher. And then with respect to silver, 194,000 ounces at 17% higher than previous year. With respect to gold sold, the gold sold was higher by 39%. We basically sold 46,257. Okay. The difference in the numbers of the produced and gold sold is that uh, there's a what they call this a in the shipment of gold. It's not always done once you produce, you immediately ship. No, it's once we achieve a certain volume, we- then the buyer will send their chopper to pick the bullions, or the dory bars, no. So that is the difference in terms of volume. Okay, for the next slide, please. Okay, for metal prices, gold was average around 1901 per ounce, as against previous year's 1776. It's 7% higher. But for silver, the price is lower. Okay, we had an average selling price of around 23 per ounce. Okay, And then for the foreign exchange rate, uh, it's funny. Basically, the average for for the half was around 53.43. Today it's 55.8. Okay, as against previous year's 48.47. Right now, the second half of 2021 was when the peso started depreciating against the dollar. So by the middle of 2021, it was already 50 pesos per dollar. So, but we're still up by 10%. Okay. Next is revenues. For the revenue side, sorry, previous slide, please. For the revenue side, we basically achieve a total of 4.765 billion as against previous year's 3,086,000,000, a difference of 52%. Okay, so an increase in gold production, an increase in gold price, and an increase in forex rate. So therefore, it's a triple whammy for us, no? So what happened was that our net income for the year, for the first half of this year, is 1.565 billion on a consolidated basis. So basically, this is our all-time high. It's a 206% increase from previous year. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. So for 2021, our cash production cost per ounce of gold is 807, and then cash with general and administrative, it's 861, and all-in cost for the world is 1,129. Right now, our cash cost is around $700 per ounce. Okay, for the first for this for the first month, for the first quarter, for the first half of 2022, it's around $700. So the numbers are really dropping. Okay, so our margins, not necessarily margins, let's just say our required break-even point is going down. Okay, because our actual costs are really going down. Okay, so next slide, please. So we're looking right now at for a guidance for this year. We're supposed to achieve 80,000 ounces. Next year, 88,000 ounces, and by 2025, 98,000 ounces. This is just a reflection of our current expansion program, and hopefully by 2026 it would have stabilized at 3,000 tons per day. So that would be the reflected volume of production that you will see. But right now, the 2022, we're gonna beat that. So we might be closer to 2023 numbers. It's just because the what happened was we're encountering higher grades, and then the throughput was behaving fantastic. Okay, so last month we're now doing 2,280 tons per day. So next slide, please. So this is critical because the current gold prices is going down. Our the gold price that we're using in terms of our forecast is 1,750 or $1,750 per ounce. Right now, just a few minutes ago, it was around 1,753. No, it's a far outcry from first quarters of 2080. That's the high. Okay, that occurred in first quarter of this year. Uh, there's kind there's a lot of volatility right now. It The volatility is created by the current weakness in China. China just happens to be the biggest buyer of gold. Okay, so if you look at the break-even grade, okay, right now, it should be the break even grade should be between 2.5 to, yeah, it should be around 2.5, because if you look at the $1,800 per ounce, 2.44 is the break even. For 1,700 is 2.58. So at around 2.5 should be the current break even. But we're currently feeding it at 4 grammars. Okay. If you look at the mine, our mineable reserves right now at 5 million, um, we have around what 4.9 grams. So that would be the average grade. So we will remain what you call this, we would remain profitable, even though, let's say, the gold prices are what you call this at these levels, because we are still feeding it at uh, more than 4 grams. Okay, so even at a price of 1,100, which occurred in 2008. Okay, so we would remain a marginal operation, but would be in the black. But we don't think that the prices will drop that far, no? Okay, so hopefully, 1.5 will be a bottom, but there's a strong support at 1.3, though. Okay, next slide, please. So in
Yun.
terms of capex budget, our capex budget is going down. Okay, because we basically spent a lot in terms of getting the three, what they call this, three assets uh, to be producing. So right now, our Sangilo has already hit the target production rate, and then our major mine, our Mako, is very close to achieving uh, two five by, hopefully by the end of the year we're already be in the 2.5 level. Okay, and then once the capex budget goes down, okay, we'll be freeing up a lot of cash. So given that uh, the capex is going down, the volume is going up, therefore our break even will still go down. So eventually those numbers will adjust. Okay, and then we'll be freeing up more cash, and hopefully we'll declare more dividends. Next slide, please. And then, of course, a summary of gold prospects. Mako going for the 3,000. It's going to go there. Hopefully, in the next 3 years, we'll be achieving that. And then we're now a continuous gold exploration program. Okay. And then in 2012, we disclosed the Mapula Pag-asa copper for free. And then since we have two claims, total around 2,300 hectares all in all, uh, we're still halfway, I think. We're the technical guys at the mine and at the head office are saying we're just halfway. Okay, so the resource is in the previous earnings call we put the number there until 2032 because of the current inferred resource of 11 million. So we're still doing a lot of drilling activities. So that will be increased in the near future, or every now and then once let's say our consultant third party consultant competent person will do a resource validation again, then that will be updated. And then what we like about the Mako is that we, because of the Mapula group, there's a potential for a mid-sized copper gold for free mine. So we're now doing expansion drilling right now because we feel that the resource has a lot more potential than what we have in the previous database. There's still a lot of blank spaces with respect to data, and there's continuity, geological continuity. So the potential for enlarging the deposit is very high. Okay, and we know it's a copper deposit. It's a porphyry, and the grades are attractive. The total copper equivalent is higher than 0.45%. So it's higher than Felix and higher the Felix Padcalmine, and then the Carmen's copper of Atlas. Okay, so it will be an income generator for us. Okay. Now, for Sangil operation, yes, it's in terms of production capacity, it has achieved, the mill has achieved the 400 ton per day, but the mine is still lagging behind. So eventually they'll play catch up, and then, sorry, but anyway, uh, the Sangilo, there's a 19 million ton resource. And then once the APSA is approved, we will expand it to around 30 million tons. Third-party consultant that will do the resource is there. So hopefully, uh, Sangilo, once the APSA is approved, we will put up another mill, a distinct mill, a brand new mill, okay, and at a rated capacity of 1,500 tons per day. With respect to Suyok, after the Sangilo, then the Suyok will put up a mill at a startup of around 50 tons per day, and then ramping it up to 200 tons per day. So hopefully by 2026, 2027, you have three mines, okay, producing. And there's another copper porphyry in Tuyok. That is the Palidan Prospect. The Palidan Prospect is a copper porphyry. It seems to be uh, because the old owners of Itugon Suyok focused on gold, but there was a Palidan Prospect, and the Palidan Prospect is 2 to 3 kilometers away from the far southeast. And within a 7 kilometer radius, okay, from Palidan, there's three world-class mine deposits beside us. That's the uh, what do you call this? The Bungoya. It sounds like Boyongan but it's Bungoyran. Na nabubulaw ako dun no? And Bulalakaw. So those are both 400 plus million tons at 0.4% copper and zero point 0.4 grams per ton gold. Okay. Mind you, far southeast is 1.5 billion ton resource. Okay, grading at uh, 0.8% copper. Wow. And then Monte Oro, we basically put up a mini mill there, 10 tons per day. It's now in the debugging phase. It's a footprint in the Paracali Gold District, but it's a higher grade, around 6 grammer. And once we get the APSA, one of the APSA approved, we will explore that gold belt. Okay. And then, of course, on our projects abroad, the one that hit us last year with a 1.3 billion impairment, there's a potential for reversal of the impairment, okay, because there are now investors looking at or communicating their interest for possible buyout. Okay, hopefully something happens to it. Okay, then, of course, we also have Service Contract 72 under Monte Oro. Uh, that's the Sampaguita. It's 2.6 trillion cubic feet, and then up to 5.4 trillion cubic feet if you include the prospective resource. And then there are other six leads. There's a total potential of 20 trillion cubic feet. Okay, so the potential for Service Contract 72, which we own 30%. Felix Petroleo owns 60%, and Atok Big Wedge owns 10%. So potential is very high for that. Once uh, the air or the region has been cleared for drilling. Okay. So the last slide, please. So first time in the history, dividend. We have a dividend policy. The board decided on August 12th to have a dividend policy that 10% of the net income of the company will be distributed, okay, from the unrestrained return earnings. As long as there's sufficient funds, yes, we will pay out. So for this dividend, X date is August 30 and payment date September 15. So one centavo in per share. You get it on September 15. So that ends my presentation. So I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Mon. Actually, I have a lot of questions while you were going through your slides, but I'm reserving them. First, of course, is from our audience. But Mon, thank you very
Shoot.
much for that comprehensive um, presentation. Actually, you left a few more nuggets there that I will need to drill on. Maybe later on, it will have time. Um, so, Jongjong Vlogs. Far Southeast is equal to LC. Tama, no? The Far Southeast
Yes, yes,
project.
yes. For Southeast Lepanto, Mangkaya.
So the bongo the bongoyon is beside Boyongan. Is
No,
that
no,
what you were
no.
trying to say
This
earlier?
is this is the Mangkayan Fault. Within the Mangkayan Fault, there's four big prospects. The
Mm-hmm.
far southeast, Palidan, Bulalakaw, and then Bongala. Forget, it's Crescent yan. Crescent ang mayari.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And dun sa taas
Um,
namin, meron pang si Celsius. Another world class. Nakikita ko yung mga numbers niya. Laki. Mhm.
yes, indeed. It was a mining tongue twister. Okay, from Harvey Tan. Is there plans to get other mines aside from what is mentioned?
Well, historically, we've been active with respect to acquisition. So, for example, Apex acquired Monte Oro because there was an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There are opportunities. We're evaluating prospects right now. So, that window is never closed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. May we get some update on the SC72? This is from Steady Tito with an
Hi, Steady
eight
Tito.
peso target price.
Thank you for your question. The 8 pesos. I like your enthusiasm. Okay.
Oh, right.
But if you look at our company right now, Tito, our valuation is so low. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the issues we're trying to address right now is dividend. Okay. We address that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next issue is liquidity. Uh, we will only have a liquidity event if we're going to declare either stock div or we do fundraising. So we will look at the liquidity event, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just to improve it. And with respect to service contact 72, uh, with this, the kite administration is getting tough. So that's a good sign, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's happening right now in the Taiwan Strait, it has a material impact with respect to service contact 38, which is Malampaya, and then service contact 72, which is us. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so uh, if things, let's just say, if someone backs down,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's a potential for a changing environment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a changing environment, which is favorable for service contact 72. But right now, we are just on hold with respect to service contact 72. We're just waiting also for the developments.
Mm. From Jongjong Vlogs ulit. Open pit ba yan, Sir Mon?
Which one? Yeah, but the Mapula is really near surface. It's just
Mm.
six. The average depth of the deposit with respect to surface profile is 6 meters.
Mhm. 6 meters.
So what do you
Mon,
think?
ito.
Hmm.
This, we'd like to address this question. This is from Alfred Benjamin Garcia. Alam ko ano to eh. Medyo ESG supporter ito. But awesome prod numbers for Q2. Question. Do you expect a drop in production in H2 given poor weather conditions versus H1? Is seasonality factored into your full year 2022 forecast for volume production?
Uh, our drainage is gravity. It's not really minimal pumping, and then we're
Mm.
underground. Okay, so the mill doesn't care. It's a all-weather mill. So
Mm.
the mines that are affected by the weather are what they call this, the nickel. The nickel laterite is very sensitive because it's hydrophilic. So it's a lover of water. So once it rains, the laterite stockpile becomes mushy, becomes mud. So
Mo yun
so
ba yung
that's
ibig
why.
sabihin ng hydrophilic? Is that what it means?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you could have
So
just
that,
said mud.
yeah, because yeah, sorry. Sorry,
Anyway,
that's
yeah,
a
please
technical
continue.
term.
Yeah.
Mm. So we're not affected. We don't expect a drop in production in H2. In fact, it's going to
Mm.
increase, irrespective of the weather. Uh, so there is no seasonality. Uh, what do you call this? Yes, it will not affect in terms of our production volume.
Mm. Wow, I learned something new. Okay, so to refresh everyone's memory, so he's asking, Ian Garcia kasi is asking for your full year 2022 forecast. So for the first half, the total ounces of gold that you produced was 43. You said, no? There was a
Mm.
correction on the slide pa yun eh.
Mm.
43 ounces for gold and about 193,000 ounces for silver.
Mm.
Um, would you be able to give them a forecast for your production and also um, maybe sales?
Actually, we're gonna beat the forecast. Okay, so from
Okay.
80,000 ounces and for gold and 296,000 ounces for silver, we're gonna beat that. So, for gold, we're easily gonna hit 85,000 ounces.
Mm.
Okay, at the rate we're going,
Hmm.
and then silver, yeah, we're gonna beat that. So,
Mm. Okay. One follow-up question. Has there ever been a time wherein poor weather conditions affected the operations of your mines in Mako and as well as
yeah,
in
it did.
Greece?
It did
I did.
because uh, the mill is beside Masara River, so there was a flooding event that happened in the
Mm.
river. It disrupted the operations because we had to do a lot of rescue
Mm.
on the town.
Mhm.
But mine, not much. The mill, there was a little, uh, because of course, people have a lot of anxiety happening during
Mhm.
during flooding. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's why we decided to move out a lot of our what they call this, our stakeholders. So we
Mhm.
put up that town site wherein we built up a housing for them. So I think we built around 400 units. We
Mhm.
still have around 60 or 40 units available for the displaced residents within our what do you call this, within our mine and mill sites. Mm. It did happen.
Hydrophilic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that color mod. From Harvey Tan again, is there plans to get other mines aside from what is mentioned? This has been addressed already earlier.
Yes.
Um, they're always open. From Nikki Garcia, can you shed some color on why your cost to produce is dropping despite rising power prices?
Hi, Nikki. Thanks
Question.
for the question. Basically, it's caused by the volume, the divisor. Let's say your total cost is, let's say, a million. You used to divide it by 1,000, then it's 1 million divided by 1,000. But right now, our divisor is going up. So in terms of volume, on a throughput, and then also because of higher gold, so we recover, because we recover more gold. The divisor is bigger. Okay.
Mm. Break from questions from Omar Pedrena. Salamat po sa dividend. May pang-buyback po kami for Apex.
Kayo, hindi kami.
Kanina, they're calling for dividend now. I wouldn't mind stock dividends.
I also don't mind, but
Would you mine or
John,
mine?
no, because the potential there is the stock div. Yes, that should be the next one, but we're not yet discussing this because if you look at our retained earnings, we still have a far to go.
Mm,
Thanks, Ian.
trailing P. Yeah, good info.
Still low as
Um,
against index of 16 times. Okay.
One, and for additional context, no, I mean, I was also reviewing. Of course, Felix did very well also today. There's been a lot of activity actually for both miners, Apex and Felix. I checked their
Liquidation,
market
lakas
cap.
kanina. Ah.
Ang, pero ano I mean, like for like, no, their Apex, Felix is 18 billion and Apex is at 10, and your or grade is much higher, as you said. Um, I mean, just to provide more color in that 7.7. Okay, Harvey Tan, piling on. Book value is 1.43 times. Or sorry, 1.43. 1.43. Okay. Kung 6 metric tons? Tama ba? Nice. I don't know what he means. Okay, do we have some more questions? All right, from Omar. Pedrena, aside from being the majority shareholder, EKR, what will he be bringing in Apex?
Mr. Mr. Rason has been a shareholder since when before 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because Mr. Rason and Mr. Dr. Walter Brown are friends, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been together since NGCP, or prior
Mm-hmm.
even to NGCP. So in the NGCP, before it was acquired by the SM Group,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it was owned by these two guys. They're the business partners. So uh, so he's been here. He's very professional, and what we like is that his vision is uh, because of let's say the management is more attuned towards exporting technology. So if he, that is his vision, to repeat what happened in ICTSI
Mm-hmm.
to mining. Okay,
Okay.
so that is a potential, but he brings professional management. That's even though we are all professionals here, and then the previous administration of or the managers here are all professionals. It
Mm-hmm.
just so happen those are different perspective with respect to
Mm-hmm.
long-term visioning. Okay, and then the kind of action that they'll take.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that under EKR, he's more pragmatic. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel that EKR and the Aboitiz group are very similar in terms of how they run their firms. They
Mm-hmm.
like professional managers, and
Yeah.
then they'll give a free hand, but make sure that the long-term vision is achieved. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we're that's what he brings to us. Okay.
I guess one other than that, no. Sige, let's go with Steady Tito again. Sir Mon, are you bullish with the price of silver? Especially it is a component for solar panels.
Oh yes, it is a component. It's for every 100 watts. It's the one being used as a soldering. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so basically it's graphite. Okay, it's silica. That's the because the quartz is the one that's phytoelectric.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the one that generates the current, but the silver is the one that ensures that the current moves. Okay. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there's growth in with respect to industrial use of silver. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
the highest use of silver is really industrial. So it's not necessarily what they call this photovoltaic cells, but there's more to silver than just that. Okay, so even the
Mm-hmm.
electronics is a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, the silver will remain range bound, the ratio of gold and silver price of around 80, 85 will remain.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if gold price goes down, silver will go down, and then if gold price goes up, silver goes up. Will also go up.
Mm.
So
Mm.
mirror yan eh. Ang steady siya dun eh.
Yeah.
No? With respect to all commodities, okay, the current trend is yes, EV. So the EV space has copper, cobalt, silver,
Mhm.
lithium, okay, and graphite or carbon. So
Mhm.
those are those are the components that are the major metals that are used.
Mhm.
Okay, so yes, it will be there'll be a major driver of demand for those
Mhm.
metals. Um, right now, the Philippines is riding that demand. Okay, the nickel
Mhm.
space, the silver and gold, okay, is also affected. Okay. With respect to iron, iron just dropped.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah. Big
because the
decline.
big decline.
Round trip na. Oo, round trip na siya.
The problem with China's property sector, or yeah, is a big hit.
Mm.
So Evergrande was really a big lowdown. Okay, so right now the defaults for
Mhm.
the mortgages are going up. So they're having a hard time. So the China bank is right now trying to control it. So hopefully
Mhm.
they do something about it.
One, I just quick time check. In as much as we would like to mine your mind some more, may I just ask if you're okay to extend for 15 more minutes, maybe?
Sure, sure, no problem.
All right. Thanks, Mon.
Mr. Salamea, yeah, it's annually. Hopefully, if we become really a good cash cow, maybe the board will try to improve on it and follow Nickel Asia's semi-annual. So,
Mhm.
Nickel Asia, di ba, August is the second tranche ng dividend dyan eh. Malapit na yan, kaya bakit eh.
Oh, eh. And
Hmm.
even if you're, I mean, you're kicking off your dividend policy this year, the thing there is you're giving out 10% of your previous year's net income. And for this year, for the first half, right? It's looking pretty good. By the end of this year, you will probably have, siguro if I annualize the 1.5 is 3.6, 3.7, right?
No, no, that's because the prices
Lower.
have gone down.
I see. So much
So you
lower
have
during the
to
second half.
temper it.
I
Ah,
see.
right now siguro we're in the range of around 200 million a month
Mm-hmm.
ang net income.
Oh, I see.
Plus yan, pero that should be the range.
Okay, sounds pretty good. Hi, Mon. Congrats on the strong results from Nikki Garcia. Thanks for the clarification. I think this was for the answer earlier. A for Apex, yes.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
That's a little
Yeah.
over
Wishful thinking
important.
yan na yan.
Yeah,
But we're going
waterproof.
there, okay?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
don't give me a deadline this year, please.
And naman si Carlos, Apex, ito hear me out. Apex has letter A, PX has none. Doon na tayo sa may A. Agree ako dyan, yung boss ko may A din eh. Doon tayo sa may A.
Yeah.
Di ba? AB Cap, of course.
Anyway, this
Um,
year we beat Felix in the first half, and so
mhm,
by the end of the year, uh, what they call this will beat Felix numbers. And
mhm,
once we continue our expansion program and price remain buoyant,
mhm.
we'll try to catch up with Atlas. Okay.
In terms of in terms of
Bottom
income.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bottom line. Yeah. From Miguel, does that mean international expansion? I think this pertains to the what EKR brings. You
Yes.
mentioned earlier parang ICT, diba?
If you look at that, if you look at our company profile, we have international assets.
Mm-hmm.
We just took an impairment, but those assets are active. Okay.
Mhm.
If ever, let's say, uh, something positive happens, then definitely we'll be sending people there. Okay. Normally,
Mm.
our geologists are out, so
Mhm.
to visit those properties or to inspect assets around the world. So let's see.
Mhm. There you go, Miguel. From Alfred Benjamin Garcia, regarding Apex and ESG, I've personally seen the company's ops in Itogon. Good environmental compliance. May certification ka na. Kahit quarter lang ICTSI makuha ng Apex. Masaya na ako.
Wala, laki talaga ng ICTSI eh. Ikaw naman, masyado malaki yun. $200 million yun eh.
Exactly, eh. Different, but hope you'll get there, Mono. But okay, something that would be very useful for everyone from Nikki Garcia. Will your existing customer absorb the additional production capacity for gold and silver, or will you have to look for new partners, new
Na,
customers, I suppose?
our customer has an annual sales level of around $28 billion, Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the gold portion is minor, probably a few $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we are just a small player. If we're just producing this much, let's say 100,000 ounces a year, our
Mm-hmm.
target come 2026,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's only uh, what $170 million with this.
Yeah.
That's too small for for the our current customer. We have only one customer in Sirius.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is backdoor an option for Apex? I don't.
Uh, Backdoor in terms of we acquiring some company? No.
I don't
Uh,
know.
our capitalization in terms of shares outstanding, we have around 12.5 billion shares.
Mm.
But we only are listed is around 6 billion, or
Mm-hmm.
our paid up is around 6 billion.
Mm.
So we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So we can monetize our shares, no? Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That's good to hear, John.
John, the company has been listed in 1974 and original pa yan, 1 centavo eh. No? I saw nga stock certificate na 1 peso na siya eh. Wow.
Ayun, or something worth looking forward to.
Let's just say Apex is a start of something big.
Mm.
That's all I can say. No,
Hi.
we don't
This is.
produce metals for that Tesla uses. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
probably the silver, yes, it's being used as for contact points, but we only sell it to Heraeus, so
Mm-hmm.
it's they're the guys who are supporting Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Once since nobody's asking about Heraeus, no. So Heraeus is your single but big customer. Where do they? What's their end use for the gold that they purchase for the
They
minerals?
either produce gold wires, silver
Mm-hmm.
wires. They're the biggest is silver wire, and then they also produce bars
Mm-hmm.
for the European gold market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so especially in especially in Europe, they like hoarding gold, and they're also close to Saudi Arabia. So
Mm.
maybe the Dubai gold bazaars.
Apex, start of something big, yeah. Definitely, no. And bakit pwede ba hindi ko nabasahin? Next banner, please. Although Friday naman. Start of something big. Ay, yung tingilan yung big. Okay, that's very good, no? That's very good to hear. Would we have some more questions? We have, I guess, 5 more minutes. But you know what, everybody? before we throw in our final questions, I'm very thrilled that you participated with us today. Um, you guys have been very participative, made this event very lively, and of course, we got a lot from Mon. But I don't think this will be the last of Mon at Viento, especially for earnings call. We're definitely gonna bring him back for a different format. No? So from Jaime, what is the current life expectancy of both the Mako and Sangilo mines? Good question.
Oh, for the current reserves that we published, Mako is 2032, Sangilo is farther, 19 million tons. They're only at 400 tons per day. That's too small because 400 is only 2.5. Sorry. 400 times. It's only 140,000 tons. It's too far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
But given
probably take you 100 years.
but the ore grade, say Sangilo, what was the ore grade for Sangilo? I
3.3.
3.3, and it could still improve, no?
Volume and grade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Sangilo has more gold than silver. And
Mm-hmm.
then and there's a preponderancy to suddenly hit a lot of high grade pockets there. Same with
Mm-hmm.
Suyok.
Mm, I see,
Yeah.
I see.
Sa amin, sa Mako, mas steady siya.
Mm-hmm. And then for that level of production that you're doing in Mako, that's I think as of first half, that's about 2,080 tons per day. Um, Probably you'll ramp it up to 2 tama ba? Tons per day.
Yes, we're now doing 2280.
2 to 80. Oh, 2 to 80 now. And then ore grade is steady at 3.9, or it's at 4.
4 something.
4 na. Okay. So that's
Diba
very good. No?
yung second quarter, it was already 4 plus So,
Mm,
and lately,
4.14.
this last month, was around 4.1 pa rin
I see. So see, Steady Tito is just curious. I'm just curious with the tender offer of EKR of Apex shares at 1.3. Is
Wala
Prime
yan, that's
Infra?
cleaning up
Mm,
yung mga shares na hindi namin alam kung sino may-ari. So, tinender
mm,
offer na lang. So, wala
yeah.
yun. Kasi if you look at it, the one who exercised,
4,000 lang. Oh,
ang liit
yeah. I've seen a move like that before also. Is Prime Infra or Prime Exploration backdoor in the works?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If ever, I cannot disclose. But right now, I don't know.
Uh,
So I cannot confirm nor deny because I don't know.
yeah, yeah. And of course, there could be some, I guess, integration, siguro, friendly cooperation, given that the SC72 is under
It's
Apex
not it's under Apex, it's not
through
under
Montipolo.
Prime Infra. So
Mm, mm,
SC38 or Malampaya
mm,
is there's a turnover yesterday.
mm,
Uh, so the Shell side equity is now being taken over by
mm,
Udena and then with Prime Infra taking over, but
mm,
not us. And there's a new guy there, si Quiñones, taking
mm,
over. So definitely he'll try to max out on the opportunity of that pipeline. And there's, I think, four more leads, four
mm,
more gas leads there. So they're gonna drill that. Okay. So hopefully
mm.
they'll repeat the 2.3 trillion cubic feet. 1.8 yun nagsimula Naging
Yeah.
2.3. Yeah. Sa Paguita, it's
Okay.
larger. Okay.
Sa Pagitan is 20, well,
No,
sorry,
no,
2, 3.
2.3
Yeah.
up to 5.6. Ano
Oof.
sabi?
Yeah, we're nearing the home stretch. We're looking for okay, this should be di po ako nagsisi
Huwag
sinangla. Wag
sobra
ganyan.
yan. Huwag ganyan,
Oo, wag
kawawa ka
ganyan.
na.
Oo, wag ganyan.
Don't put all your eggs in the one basket. diversify your portfolio.
That's
Standard.
correct, no? That's correct. As you've seen earlier, sumbong kita kay Harvey Specter. I'll book you a meeting with Harvey Specter. Okay. Last call for a question. Okay. So Mon, I guess on behalf of AB Capital, the team that has put this together, of course, with Tere, I would also like to thank Tere for helping us to put this together, and to you also, Mon. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. More than the time, I think it's also the knowledge that you've shared with us. So, most definitely, even if you don't like it, I will probably book you for your third quarter earnings call, so that we can continue to hear about the progress of Apex Mining's projects. Definitely, we're looking forward to hear from you again. But I guess before I let everyone go, it was a fun discussion, and it was fun because you participated lively or very well. But again, mining is always very exciting, and as I've shared earlier, definitely you can make a fortune, but we also would like to advise prudence as well. So make sure that the fun stays here, but the serious work and the serious investing will happen outside of this event. We're hoping to do more events. Of course, we're going to tap on the experience of Mon and Viento. He's been doing mining 101 before, so that people will be more informed and knowledgeable about mining investment. Please look forward to that. Hopefully, that will be coming soon. Mon will be very busy in the coming weeks, so hopefully that will give us enough time to set that up. Mon, thank you very much once again. Thank you very much to all of our audience who participated. And with that, I bid everybody goodbye. Have a good weekend, and please stay safe and dry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mon.